What is happening, people at WCReplays.com? I hope you guys are doing well. This is Speierg coming at you with another audio commentary from the human perspective. And, of course, this material is copyrighted 2006 by WCReplays.com. Hey, guys, got a great game for you guys here today. Yes, the humans in this game are, well, let's say marginally more skilled than the person in my last replay, which was part of the Average Joe series that I did with Speierg. I know there's a little bit of a mixed reaction there. Some of you guys just want to see these Gosus smacking each other around, and I dig that. I understand that. It's fun to watch, and I've got that for you today. I got a couple of great players going toe-to-toe, 4K Todd and SRS Demozlum, and I will probably pronounce his name as Demozlum because it's fun to say it that way. No disrespect to anyone. I hope you can all just kind of take that in stride, because I just like to say Demozlum. I just think it sounds cool. Hey, this will be a really cool game for those of you guys that want to see some good micro, some interesting play, some skilled guys going after it. That's what you got here, okay? This is a human versus human game, and pause it at the 1 minute mark. 1x speed, 4K Todd's point of view. And we're going to see a little bit of a non-standard approach, well, at least for what I've been seeing lately. I haven't been watching quite as many replays as I used to. Just, gosh, guys, life is busy. I can't even tell you. New job, 3 kids. It's a miracle that I ever get to sit down and do one of these things. Right now, I got 1 kid sleeping, 1 watching TV, 1 up in his room just kind of chilling, playing, My wife's out getting her hair cut. And it's kind of rainy outside, so I can't really go work on the yard or do any work in the house. You know what I mean? So, hey, I'm sitting down. I'm doing a little audio love for you guys. All right? Here we go now. Let's get this thing on pause, and we'll get right into this game. I think you guys are going to like this. So, 1 minute, 1x speed, 4K Todd, fog of war off. Unpausing in 3, 2, 1, unpause. All right. Pretty standard build from both of these guys. And I'll just try and cover a few of the basics. For those of you guys that are more advanced players, you can just ignore some of these comments on the basics. But, so I know this helps some of you guys out there. And it's the kind of thing that, quite honestly, I don't play very often. And so my game has never really advanced beyond probably that of an average player. My micro is pretty And, I can micro a little bit, and I understand the basic concepts of the game, but, I'm always going to be about a 55% guy, I think. So these are the kind of things that I still have to think about. So here's one of them. You're going to notice that it's going to build a whole mess of peasants, and if you scout like Demozlum just did, you will notice that if you're really paying attention. These are one of the things. That's one of the things you want to look for when you scout. I mean, when I first started playing, I would just send my peon down there because that's what you're supposed to do. And I'm sorry, not peon, peasant, militia, whatever. And you send them down there, and you just get a look at the guy's base. But I didn't really know what to be looking for. Well, that's one of the things you're looking for. One of the things is make sure that your opponent built a barracks and he's not doing some kind of fast tech BS. And make sure he's kind of doing a more standard build so that you're getting caught with your pants off. Also, when you're playing against a human opponent, there's always the threat of a fast or very early expansion, and you can tell if your opponent might be up to that if you see a whole mess of extra lumber peasants. And Todd does have some extra lumber peasants here, and you're going to see him do some pretty cool stuff here. He creeps out that little green like he normally would, but then here's what he does. He goes to creep out this mercenary camp, and that's going to pay off in a couple of different ways. One, it's going to be good experience. He's going to level up maybe just slightly faster than Demozlum. Not a ton faster, but just a little bit faster. He's going to get a Talisman of Evasion, which is pretty nice. But he's also going to be able to now purchase some mercenaries. And so he's going to get one of these troll shadow priest guys to do a little healing. It's like getting a priest out at tier 1. It's kind of a cool deal while you're creeping around. You can get your hurt footman kind of healed up. You see he's got this one footman that's all banged up, so, hey, no problem. He's also going to have access to some of those troll berserkers. And, good job of scouting here really by Demozlum. He's got the farm here. He already had sent his militia up to take a peek at Todd's base, and he's off creeping and doing his own thing. And if you paid attention to his creeping pattern, you can see he's doing a pretty good job too. And he's up almost to 2.5 now, I guess, by the time he finishes this creep camp, which is about where Todd's at. Now, Todd's only creeped 2 camps. He crept one that was a little more difficult. So he's using militia to his advantage. But you can see here, he's got a 36 of 36 army real quick, whereas de Muslim is still at 30 of 30. Partly because that one farm got taken down, so he couldn't build straight to 36. But you understand here that getting access to the troll priest and the troll berserker for a little bit of extra damage, that can be a good thing. And so you can see here he's trying to set up for an expansion, and while he's doing that, he continues creeping. Never stop doing stuff. If you can be creeping, don't just sit there while you're waiting to get enough resources to do your expansion. Do something else, and that's what he does. So now he's creeping while he's putting his expansion up, and in comes de Muslim. Here he comes and catches Todd in a bit of an awkward position while he's still creeping. So Todd uses 1 or 2 footmen to try and finish off those creeps. He gets his Shadow Priest and his Berserker in the back lines. Notice that. Keeping them away from those footmen who will do extra damage to those guys. He made a little bit of a micro mistake there. He misclicked, and I think he actually did some damage to one of his own footmen there for a little while. He's going to lose a few peasants. He kills one of his own peasants right there, as you just saw, in order to prevent de Muslim from getting the experience. And he does make another little micro error here. You're going to see this 2 footmen that are all but dead get away that didn't necessarily have to get away. He might have been able to take those down, and that would have maybe really changed the complexion of this game a little bit, just because it would have left de Muslim in a very defenseless kind of position had he been able to take both of those guys down. But de Muslim does a nice job here, picks up a Naga, and I don't know if that was his plan from the beginning or if he just kind of thought, oh crap, I need to get some reinforcements here in a hurry. But he picks up this Naga at the tavern, and you're going to see, this is nice here, watch this. The Naga and the Archmage with a level 2 water elemental just going to put a hurting on that priest. And that's a good thing. He wants to take down those priests because they can help dispel those water elementals, which is another reason why it's pretty nifty to creep out that mercenary camp early against human versus human. Now let me back up for 1 second while they're just kind of duking it out and chasing each other around. Here's another deal. You can do this in human versus human, because typically a human player is not going to harass very often. Every once in a while you'll see somebody who will try and harass you. They'll come after you with a blizzard harass or maybe a flame strike harass, that kind of thing. But generally speaking, human players are going to try and creep. So you can go ahead and do some militia creeping and take out that mercenary camp, and just like Todd just did. Now against, when I was first learning how to play this game, I would watch somebody do a cool creeping pattern like that, and I'd be like, oh man, I'm going to try that in my next game. But here's the deal. You can't just do that in every matchup, because, typically a Night Elf player is going to come after you with a Demon Hunter. Typically an Undead player is going to come after you and harass you with a Death Knight. And typically an Orc player is probably going to harass either with a Farseer or a Blade Master. And on this map, usually I see Blade Master on this map, but not always. But in any case, you're going to be getting harassed. If you're trying to creep a really large creep camp and you get harassed, that can really hurt. You can end up losing several units early on, and basically it can cost you the game. So it's a little risky if you're going to try and do something like that against the other races. But against human, usually you're going to get away with it. And 4K Todd gets away with it here. So, okay, he has now set up an expansion. Alright, the good thing is, he's got an economic advantage. He is in, the longer this game goes, the more of an advantage he's going to have. You see, he's just been checking. Okay, did de Muslim also set up an expansion? No, he did not. Okay, great. So you know that de Muslim is now at tier 2, which he is. He's got 2 Sanctums up, and he is going to try and get as many tier 2 units as he can. He's going to make a push, and you're going to see he brings 3 ivory towers. He brings a whole pantload of peasants. I mean, he is bringing the whole works here to take out this expansion. Lucky for Todd, I think. Very lucky for him. He just happens to be up in de Muslim's base at the same time. The reason I say it's lucky for him is because he is in a position now where he can take down all these peasants and begin to pound on de Muslim's one and only town hall. By doing so, he forces him to have to TP back in, because he just can't afford to lose his one and only town hall. That would be obviously catastrophic. Whereas Todd, hey, you take down my expansion, I can still survive. But of course, he TPs back to his expansion, takes out those towers that de Muslim was trying to set up, and he goes back and buys another Scroll of Town Portal. He can afford to do that. He's got an expansion. Der Muscheln, on the other hand, is going to have a harder time keeping up this kind of hit-and-run tactic by constantly buying Town Portal Scrolls, because that's going to mean fewer units that he can make or fewer other things that he can do, because he just doesn't have that economic advantage. So Todd figures, hey, I've got the economic advantage. I can buy as many TP scrolls as I want, so I'm just going to keep the pressure on. And again, another reason he needs to do that is because he is just now hitting Tier 2 and does not have any Tier 2 buildings yet and does not have a second hero yet. And so he's got to do something to keep Der Muscheln from being able to just really overrun him. So he goes back and he starts picking on his opponent's base again. He's taking out peasants. Smart move here to try and take out as many peasants as possible before you start banging on the town hall, because obviously they'll just repair it if you don't first. So now he's got that town hall down to about half of its total hit points. And you're going to see, he's just kind of rinse and repeat here. When your entire army is slowed, so he uses Disciple to try and get rid of some of that. And he continues to try to apply some pressure. He's going to go back down here. He's going to buy another Scroll of Town Portal. And again, no problem economically. He can keep that up all day right now with that expansion. Whereas he puts Der Muscheln in a situation where he's going to have to buy some town portals as well. And but it's going to hurt him because he doesn't have the expansion. So again, here you go. You've got these slowed footmen. They're going to die. There's really not much Todd can do about it, other than kind of, maybe use them to keep Der Muscheln occupied for a few minutes while he runs into Der Muscheln's base and starts pounding away again. So this time he was going to try and run out of there, but he got his Archmage trapped, so he ends up TPing. No problem. It's just kind of a war of attrition right now. You can see 4K Todd is up to 50 food, and he's actually got more food of an army now than Der Muscheln does, although Der Muscheln had a little bit more of an advanced army, a little bit more of a Tier 2 army as opposed to really kind of a 1.5 army for Todd. And Todd's Mountain King is fresh out of the gate, no experience yet. So Der Muscheln wants to continually, try to apply pressure right now because he knows I've got a better army right now. I've got to make Todd pay for expanding. Whenever your opponent expands early against you, you want to try and make him pay for it. And so that's what he's trying to do, but Todd, clever tactic here. He just keeps coming back to kind of the pressure point, if you will, which really is Der Muscheln's base. If he is able to take this town hall down, that's pretty much good game. And so he decides right here and right now he is going to try and do that pretty much at any cost. So he'll lose his Mountain King and maybe a couple other units, but he is going to take that main down and then TP out. So you take a look at Der Muscheln's economics right now, and you can see he cannot rebuild that thing. 289 gold, 192 wood. Basically, the army he has now, that he's got to work with for the rest of this game. He's not going to be able to do much of anything. So it really kind of gets to a situation now where it's desperation time for him. He's got to win this game now. You see what Todd just did? I don't know if you noticed that. He just retrained